Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl and Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. Thanks for watching and tuning in tonight. Bob Tattern here. Welcome to Sportsline Trivia. It was nice to know that the real Pittsburgh Steelers showed up yesterday. Mike Pavlik joins us tonight.
What makes you say that?
It's 42
How do you know
points.
the real ones won't turn up next week?
And score more than 42.
No, and then play like they did last week.
Oh, those are the real.
I don't know which one's which.
Well, fortunately for us, the winning.
Yeah, that's what I was
came
happy
out
about
last
that
night.
much anyway.
But, I began to worry somewhat in the second half. It looked like, they might, but.
Right.
And what was the injury to, right.
Ribs. Yeah, he got stuck pretty good, and so if they're missing him for any length of time, I mean he's very effective regular season quarterback. It's when he gets into the playoffs he turns into a pumpkin. But if they don't have him for the rest of the season, and their schedule is pretty tough coming down the stretch, they may be in a little bit of trouble. I still think that Baltimore has, they have the easiest schedule, and they are less apt to stumble over a bad opponent than a team like, say, the Steelers are. They usually take care of those. So they to me look like after yesterday's game shook out. I really think Baltimore's the favorite now.
All right, looking ahead for the Steelers' final 3 games, in Atlanta and then home with Kansas City and Cincinnati.
Right.
As of this weekend, the combined records of those 3 teams that we have in the schedule are 20-17. Pretty close. So
Right.
at least it's not like 38-4.
There's a chance they may get one of these games moved. Either the Kansas City game or the Cincinnati game may get moved to primetime, and especially the Cincinnati game the last week of the season. And if that happens, that's good for the Steelers because that usually gets their attention. They're not looking past opponents in those situations. So maybe that'll help them out.
But it was nice to see 42 points on the board. The linebacking core, something's going on. And the safeties. Well, we did have an injury, too.
Well, then they benched Ike Taylor. You can say what they want about him being hurt. They had to get him out of there. I thought Antoine Blake did a really nice job in the second half. He made some plays, and that was a good thing. Mike Mitchell's terrible. I just don't. There's no other way to put it. He's not very good. And Troy Polamalu, to say his better days are behind him is an understatement. Ed Bouchette's been saying all season he should have retired after last year, and he's riding out the one last year of his contract, and this will probably be it for him. Yeah. I believe his wife has a vote in this, and I think she wants him to.
I wouldn't doubt it. Folks, you're welcome to call Sportsline Trivia, 724-236-0430, and chat with us. You'll have an opportunity to win a small prize of some kind if you play the multiple choice trivia, or a larger prize if you go with the Grand Salami or our mystery profile. Those prizes will carry up to as high as about $125 in gift certificates and what have you from local merchants, where nothing is required for you to buy. You just go and say, here, I'll take a free meal, etc.
That works.
So anyway, here are the rules and the regulations on winning here in the program. First of all, you can only win but once every other week at your household address. Number 2, you can either win the Grand Salami or the mystery profile once in a calendar month, and also only try the mystery profile once in a calendar month. Multiple choice questions will give you 15 seconds to answer. The Grand Salami at 20, the mystery profile, clue by clue, First-time callers or anyone who has not called over the last year will win more than one prize with a correct answer. And you can get the answers to the trivia questions by going to my website. It's doubledribblebob.com. Get the answers there and make some notes, and then tune us in. I have a sports history and sports nostalgia program on WAVL Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock. And the station, WAVL, is on the AM dial, and the dial position is 910. Okay? Mike, break time.
Yes, I also have my eyes on the baseball winter meetings in San Diego. For those of you that don't know, that's the place where teams not named the Pittsburgh Pirates try to improve themselves. So if the Pirates would surprisingly do anything that improved themselves while we're on the air, I'll make sure to let you know.
And Mike and I are keeping track of the folks who called in to participate. We're just offering a $25 dinner gift certificate to the person who correctly predicted the amount of Pittsburgh Steelers regular season wins. Where do we stand?
I have bad news for Chris Bentley. He's been eliminated.
Chris is out.
Chris is out. He had 7 and 9, and the thing is, now the only way anybody that's been eliminated can get back in one way and one way only, and that's if they finish 8 and 8. And there's the list. Thanks, Bill. And that's if they finish 8 and 8. Because Bob is the only person that picked 8 and 8, and since Bob can't win, and I have picked 11 and 5, I can't win, and Bill back there has picked 11 and 5, he can't win, since we're all here. So the only way everybody can get back in is if they finish 8 and 8. So anybody that's been eliminated, that's what you need to root for. You need to root for them to lose their last 3 games, and then everybody's name's back in the hat, and we pick from everybody. But otherwise, we're going to pick. There will be a tie. So we'll have to pull the winner's name out of a hat otherwise.
But as it goes now, and I'm looking at, if we were to win 2 out of the next 3, we've got 3 people that have picked.
We have 3 people sitting at 10 and 6.
Yeah.
We have 3 people at 9 and 7. 2 that can participate at 9 and 7. George Guido also picked 9 and 7, but he's not eligible either.
He's not eligible.
So we have.
He'll have to take the old pat in the back.
Right. Well, if they win them all and finish 11 and 5, Mark Corey wins.
Hey,
there. So he's
all right.
That's his deal. So.
Okay, let's take a break. We're coming back. Stay with us. Tony in the on deck circle. Back in a flash.
The Poorhouse on Route 8 in Allison Park has 225 20-ounce Bud Light drafts during all Pens games. Just $2.25. Stop by the Poorhouse on Allison Park and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services. Putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubledribblebob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Burrell.
Wicked Witches on Freeport Road in Cheswick has $2 16-ounce Bud Light drafts during all Pens games. Just $2. Stop by Wicked Witches on Freeport Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
If you're shopping for a sharp pre-owned vehicle, the guys who know the most in this business, Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, are on Freeport Road, right at the traffic light. They've got an experienced staff who will help you in your selecting that next vehicle. Almost 40 years of service in the same location. Tower Auto Sales, and their byline, just buy it. Give Mike Fanto a call at 412-828-6202. Still got a couple of these to give away. These are soft, pliable rubber, and I don't know what's holding everything together, but you slip your ball cap through that slot, and you can wear these,
At the Steeler game.
at the Steeler game, high school game, college, whatever. I've got them to give away, and they're free. All you have to do is reach me somehow and say, Bob, I'd like to have. We gave away a few since the last show.
That's good.
I still have a couple more. So, okay, let's go to Tony. Tony is one of those who said, give me one. I'll send it out to my grandson.
There you go.
Tony, welcome to the program.
Hi, guys. How
Hey,
are
Tom.
Okay.
you? Years ago there was this great movie, Paul Newman, Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And it was Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Mm-hmm. And they robbed a bank, and they were trying to get away. And no matter what they do, they kept looking back, and they seen the posse kept coming. And a famous line in there is, who are those guys? So I guess we as fans are Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kids, and the Steelers are, who are those guys?
Who are those guys? Exactly.
This is unbelievable.
Because I don't know.
You can't play that great in 3 games and then look like a buffoon in some others. I just don't understand it.
Well,
it seems like yesterday, after they got behind, it seems like he cut them loose. Do what you want. Throw deep. Do the bing bing. Hey, if they're holding this team back and being cautious, they shouldn't be coaching anymore.
Well,
Cincinnati isn't no slouch.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
No.
But they devastated them.
Yeah, they did.
Offensively and then defensively too. And Tuitt, he really.
It was about time they let him play. It was. I mean, you've seen him play. I haven't really. But I mean, you'd be more able to tell us what he's capable of doing.
I've seen him play Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
In fact, he should be there this past year. He left early.
Yeah, he's young, and they do like to draft them young like that, which is a good idea. I don't have a problem with that, But to develop them and to get them but you got to. I'm sorry, but there isn't practice anymore like there used to be. You can't get better in practice in the NFL anymore because they don't practice really. They just walk through. They don't hit. So the only way you get any better is to play in the football game, I think.
Well, hey, LeBeau said this kid can't miss. He should be starting. He said that at training camp.
Well, somebody was obviously telling him not to. Then
the Fuhrer, he doesn't believe in starting. Well,
I don't know.
He better wake up because.
Well, he has to play now. And this goes back to my thing, Tony. I said last week. I don't mind having James Harrison back or Brett Kiesel. These are good players and good men to have in the locker room.
Right.
But are you retarding the progress of your young players by having these guys play ahead of them?
Exactly.
Those young players are never going to get any better if they don't get out there and play.
I don't care. If you're good at, I don't care if you're in diapers. If you're good enough to start, you should be starting.
Well, exactly, and especially.
Exactly. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, this goes way back. You remember way back when, his first year man can't play, where quarterbacks have to wait 5-6 years.
Remember that?
Yeah, and that was a bunch of what too.
Well, they can't do that anymore because the contract runs out by the time they
Right.
have to get him in there and see if they can or not.
Right.
I mean, they're already making a decision in Washington on Robert Griffin. What's he been there? 3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 years.
And they're 3-10.
Oh, they're terrible. What a mess that is.
Oh my God,
And what did they give up to give them again?
Well, did you see? Well, I'll tell you what they gave up. Everybody that went out for the coin toss for the Rams yesterday. Jeff Fisher actually sent the 6 guys that are still on the team from the draft picks that they got for Robert Griffin. He sent those 6 guys out as his captain yesterday.
That's beautiful. I love that.
To rub it in a Redskins' face.
That's good. And then turn around and shut them out?
They have 2 shutouts in a row. That doesn't happen anymore. Their defense is really good, but their quarterback got hurt in training camp, or that's a really good team, I think. I mean, they really are. Aaron Donald, yay. That's all.
Well, you know what? It's a crazy season, but now there's no reason why the Steelers can't play the next 3 games the way they did yesterday.
Tony, you're right.
Win or lose, that's fine. If you play like you did yesterday, after about almost the second half of that, and you lose, fine. The other team just beat you.
Right.
But when you play like you did against the Jets and
Tampa
Bay and whoever else, they looked lousy at. So there's no reason for it.
They're
No
capable.
reason whatsoever.
It's and that's the thing. We're not sure what they are.
No.
But if you play the way they played yesterday, and you play a game the way they did against Indianapolis, and the way they did against the Ravens, bad teams can't do that.
No.
Bad teams can't play that well.
No.
They're not capable of doing it because they don't have the players to do it. They obviously have the players to do it. I think the question is, as you said, what's wrong in those games against the bad teams? Why can't he get them ready to play those games? And that's a question
exactly.
for the coach and the players.
And it all comes down to the veterans on the team.
Well, I think you're right. It does. It's in the locker room, and it's I think it, and you know this too. I criticize Tomlin. You'll criticize Tomlin when it's necessary, more so than me even. But the point is, there's only so much a coach can do in a situation like that. You can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink it.
You remember this quote from one of the coaches? We thought who they were. We thought. Well, how did he say that?
Oh yeah, they are who we thought they were.
Yeah. Well, no, they're
let them
not.
off the hook. Yeah.
Steelers. We don't know who they are.
No.
By the way, Blunt didn't have a bad game with the Patriots. 20 rushes, 68 yards, about
That's something-
3 yards a pop. Not
Again,
fantastic,
see,
but
and that's, we know he can play. That's not the issue. These are things that irritate me, though, about the Steelers is you see Emmanuel Sanders, who was nothing more than a bit player here, is going to be going to the Pro Bowl.
Right.
And you see LeGarrette Blount, who couldn't get on the field here. Now, obviously, he's not as good as the guy that was playing in front of him, But just to spell a guy, he couldn't even get on the field. And he goes to New England and he plays like that, and you wonder what's happening here.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They don't know talent here. They could run right over him. They wouldn't know it.
I mean, they signed guy,
It's just ridiculous, Well, look at their draft choices. What they've been picking. So just every so often they get lucky and pick one.
Here's something funny. I saw a story today and I didn't click on it because it was in a list of headlines and I didn't click on it. But it was a story, and it was a national story. It wasn't locally produced, and it said big winners from the 2014 draft, and the Steelers were one of them.
The big winners.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
didn't click on it, and I'm thinking, okay, now who? Well, Shazier hasn't done anything. I think they basically look at Martavis Bryant and say, I bet a lot of teams haven't got that much production out of a guy that they picked that late.
Right, because he had 7 touchdowns in 7 games.
And the guy, the guy. See, he's a guy that, this is a guy after my own heart. This is somebody that's actually gotten better, and as you can see, is the lights going on. And that's what you hope for with young guys. You hope the light goes on, and by Christmas time, they're a better player than they were at Labor Day. And the problem with a lot of these guys is they've been hurt so much we haven't had a chance to see.
Well, if you're going to turn the lights on, Christmas is a good time to do it.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So, hey, like I said, we'll hold our breath and,
You heard what I said last week, that they were going to beat Cincinnati and then they're going to lose next week, and I'm sticking with that.
And we'll be talking about firing Tomlin again.
I'm
and the
sticking
whole
with
bit.
it. I'm not coming off it. Now, if they win next week, and I don't care how, I don't care how they win, but if they win next week, then you might be able to say, okay, now maybe they've gained some traction and they'll have a chance.
Yeah, maybe they got over that bad team syndrome.
Yeah.
But
only they can fix it. No one else can.
That's right. Ain't nobody else.
Nothing we can do about
show
it.
up.
Yeah.
Forfeits a game. But and as far as the Pirates going down to for the winter meetings, they're just getting down there to get out of this weather.
Nice, beautiful weather's beautiful in San Diego.
Yeah, that's why they're going down so they can play golf, and that's about all they'll do.
They grabbed some guy out of the dumpster today, so you
they
can
got
tell
what?
they're. And now here it's like there's always a reason why not with them, and I've already seen. Well, I don't know about giving Liriano 4 years. It's like, look, this is called the price of poker. If you want to actually compete, you're going to have to sign these guys. And don't tell me about trades. I don't want to hear trades. You have a pretty good team already assembled, and this is what free agency is for. It's to add a couple of players to make yourself a better team. So if they, this is
to strengthen your bullpen, to strengthen your bench.
It's strengthen your bullpen and the starting rotation and
the catching, the infield, and that.
Let's go.
And the outfield is really solid.
It is.
But
they need to stick off of the bench. They need a couple arms in the bullpen, and they need a couple arms in the starting rotation.
There you go.
From what Frank Coonley has said, they have the money to do it. Now let's go.
No, I know they do, but they're not taking it down here with them.
And that I blame the general manager for, not the owner.
You know what? When they go down, they take $5 of one change of underwear, and they don't make change for either one of them.
You're right.
Tony, let's do some trivia.
Sure, we'll do that. All right, let's go with the salami. And let me see. Everything's available. So,
Yes.
All right, let's go with number 3.
Who do you trust?
I don't, either one of them.
All right,
I got 30 wins. I got a lot of losses, but I still got 30 wins. So
right.
so both you guys, besides George, is involved in all of those.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the champion of the world. Here we go. It is baseball. There's a pirate connection. But this guy was more known.
It's all right.
This guy was more known for pitching with another team.
What's that?
He was more known for pitching for another team. All right, so here is your question. What former Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher had only 3 hits in an entire season playing for another team? All 3 of those hits were home runs.
He had 3 hits, and all 3 were home runs.
In one season.
In one season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, let me think here. One season, 3 home runs. That's pretty good. Let me see anything. I got to know this one. All right. How about Jim Bunning?
No. How about Clem Labine?
Yep, I know who he was.
Yeah.
He played for Dodgers, too.
Right.
Yeah. Clem Labine. Good question, Bob.
Tony, thank you for the call.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, guys.
Next Monday, come aboard, okay? Break time here in the show, and we invite you folks to stay with us. 724-236-0430. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store. We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more.
You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed.
From our family to your family, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. From Arnold Furniture.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
An appetite for some pizza tonight, or perhaps you'd like to have a sub sandwich or, well, stromboli, whatever. Give Mattio's Pizza and Subs a call. 724-904-7312. They got that huge Ironman hoagie. That's a challenge, of course, obviously for one man, but if 2 guys or any 2 people get together with that thing, man, that's one heck of a sandwich, okay? Mattio's, located at Brackenridge Heights, right there at the corner with the traffic light near the district magistrate's office. And they're decorated for Christmas, too. So, anyway.
They are indeed.
So how'd the banquet go for Highland?
Oh, we had the football banquet last night. It was very nice. It's a Cecil B. DeMille production. It takes about as long as the Ten Commandments. The banquet started at 5. I walked in the door at 10 minutes after 9. So, that's about a 4-hour production. Sam Albert is unbelievable at this thing. And he, takes care. He is the master of ceremonies himself. And he takes, and he's terrific at it. He has little bits that he does for the kids and everything. And it's a great night. It's a lot of fun. And it's a lot more fun, too, when you have a winning season, which they did in a very good season. And Sam's wife, Jody, produces a video every year, and they show the video, and it's basically takes from
the highlights
of the season, and the kids behind the scenes at the different events that they have, leading all the way up through the season and all the way to the end. And she does a great job. And her dad, Dick Natowski, great guy, is a great artist, and he puts together posters each game. An old-fashioned, like you would see the old-fashioned cartoon that would be on the cover of a program of an old game. And he puts one of those together for every game, and they hang it in the locker room, and they show those and work those out. He's a great guy, too. But it's a lot of fun, and the boosters do a great job, and it was a great night. It was nice to not have to sit in front of the TV on a Sunday evening. And
that's great.
Something else to do. But so yeah, we'll be getting ready for hoops. You too. So
I've got my first game Tuesday, replay Thursday, which would be before the replay of this show on Thursday. But anyway, we're going to go to the studio audience. By the way, for those of you twiddling your thumbs at home,
please call.
Yeah, please do. 724-236-0430. And would be glad to get you on the air, give you an opportunity to win a prize. And even though Tony missed out on the Grand Salami, he has won no less than 30 times since we've been doing this, which I think we started in maybe 08, whatever. So 6 years, he's winning about 5 times a year. About 5 times a year. And
he mentioned his guest was Jim Bunning. Guess what? I have Jim Bunning to talk about in a little while. So how about that?
Good. And he spent time in political office.
Right, and he's involved in the Hall of Fame vote today.
Okay.
We'll get into that when we have a chance later on.
All right, let's go to the studio audience, and Paul is there. Paul,
hey, how's everyone tonight?
Good, Paul. How are you?
We're
any surprises in the bowl matchups this year?
Well, I went down through them and looked, and I think they did some things right and they did some things wrong. But I'm happy that Ohio State got in as a fan because I root for them. But the way that they went about it was kind of messy. I don't know the point of putting the poll out each week. You know, I don't know what that did, and I think it just made a lot of people mad because of having TCU ranked 3rd going into the weekend, and away they went to all the way down to 6th after they won 55-3. It's not the days of the AP poll anymore, I guess.
Can we beat the Houston Cougars?
Can Pitt beat the Houston Cougars? I hope so. They fired their coach today, Houston.
Oh, they did.
So this will be 2 years in a row Pitt will be playing against an interim coach, whereas a few years before that they were playing with an interim coach when Wanstead was fired and Phil Bennett took over for that game and Graham left and whoever. I can't even remember who coached that game.
Now, if they beat Houston, would they get all that money that Houston still owes them from the Blue Bonnet Bowl?
Remember that, huh?
What year was that? Not 82?
That was in the 80s. I think that's long gone. They played Texas that night. The old Blue Bonnet Bowl.
At the Astrodome.
And I remember Eric Metcalf was playing for the Longhorns. I think he ran one back. And Pitt hasn't fared very well in the state of Texas in bowl games. The last time they were at the Sun Bowl, they lost that horrible 3-0 game to Oregon State.
Right.
But we'll see. Their game will be the 2nd of December, or the 2nd of January, which is basically it's a school holiday because there's no school or anything yet, and they're going to play at noon in the Armed Forces Bowl in beautiful Fort Worth, Texas.
Is that TCU?
At TCU Stadium, yes. Yeah. Against the Houston Cougars, and Houston fired their coach today after a 7-5 season. So,
isn't that something? You can win, have a winning season, and get bounced.
Nebraska.
How about Bo Pelini at Nebraska? Bo Pelini won 9 games every year at Nebraska, and they fired him. 9 games.
Jeez.
As a Pitt fan, of course, we did that the
Is
once.
that because he had a problem with Nebraska?
They didn't get along. They didn't get along very well, and they were looking for a reason to get him out. And by the way, you don't see other schools rushing to get him.
And then Penn State plays BC.
Penn State's playing Boston College. There was some talk about the possibility of a Pitt-Penn State matchup in the Pinstripe Bowl, which
Would be nice,
Yankee
but
Stadium.
it's not going to happen.
But that's not going to happen. And the problem is the way that the system was set up this year with the bowls, especially for the ACC, that there was a top tier of 4 bowls and a bottom tier of 4 bowls. And I guess it got a little bit gamey yesterday for the Panthers that they nearly got left out altogether. And they had to be a little bit, because the Armed Forces Bowl that they're in is not an ACC tie-in.
No.
And they had to pull some strings behind the scenes, and I guess Steve Peterson, who, I criticize a lot, had to do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure they at least got a game. And hey, that's extra practice for young players. They have the highest number of underclassmen of any school in the country. So any practice that those kids can get is good. So I'm happy about that. They have to improve that defense somehow.
Let me throw something in from left field. When Nebraska plays a home game, the county that they are in, or the area that they are in, becomes the most populated portion of the entire state.
I believe it.
When they sell out, it is the most populated, for what it's worth, folks.
Right.
For what it's worth.
Oh yeah, well, and it's amazing them, Norman, Oklahoma, those places
Yeah.
that there's really nothing else.
Cornfields.
And they were unbelievably spoiled by Tom Osborne when he was there. The record that he had, and their recruiting, just general scope of their recruiting, is not great. And you have a bunch of cornfield. Where are you getting your skill players at?
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of them out there, and it's become very difficult when you don't have the marquee coach anymore. And as we all know, college football is all about who the coach is. That's
Right.
It's a coach's game.
And some of them make more money than the pro coaches.
They do. Well, a lot of them like it because they have more control.
Yeah.
You control the entire program, and you don't have to. There's some talk about Jim Harbaugh, who's obviously on the way out of San Francisco right now because he can't get along with his bosses. That that Michigan would like to talk to him as far as their opening at Michigan because he's a Michigan man, but. He seems, the question is, does he like the college atmosphere better when he can control everything? Or would he like a nice cushy job in the pros where you don't have to recruit? And that's Saban figured it out for himself that college is his. He tried it in the pros for a while. Lou Holtz couldn't even make it through one season in the NFL before he realized he needed to go back to college.
Right.
It's different for each guy.
And who's your pick to win everything in January?
I haven't got that far. I really want to take a look at the semifinal games first. I think it's that they're both big favorites. I mean the spreads in both games are both double digit. I think.
Right.
That Alabama's a big favorite.
10 points
over over Ohio State, and Oregon is a big favorite over Florida State. And the thing about Florida State is they don't lose. They win by a little bit, but they win. And
it was 2 years on the 24th that they lost their last game to Florida.
Yeah. So they are. I wouldn't want to bet against them, and especially with a spread that large.
Right.
They'll keep it close one way or the other. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic this year because the championship games in the past is you sit out a month and then you play a championship game.
Right.
I always liked the under in those games because everybody was nervous at the beginning, nobody was clicking, and there weren't a lot of points scored.
Right.
Well, now what you're going to have is you're going to have that month wait until the semifinal games. And then it'll only be, I guess they're going to play it the next available Monday, whenever that is. It could be 10 days away or whatever, like it's going to be this time. They're going to go from Thursday to Monday to the following Monday. So it'll be about 10 days. So that'll be a good, amount of time that you should have. I think the championship game stands to be a better game than it's been in the past because of the new system.
Oh, this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just because they'll have played one before
Right.
before they have to play the championship game.
Right. So no one would be all rusty and.
My default position is Alabama, Paul. I'm an Alabama guy.
Well, they've won more than anybody.
Saban doesn't bother me. Unlike a lot of people, people don't like the guy. He doesn't bother me at all. All I know is he wins. He wins a lot. The kids don't get into trouble.
Right.
And he's from Ohio.
Yeah, I think Big 12 not having the title game hurt TCU and Baylor.
Well, I guess he was actually born in West Virginia, by the way.
Yeah.
He did a lot of his work in Ohio. Well, that killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, that killed the Big 12, and I think, they're going to need to add 2 teams, and I don't think they're going to care who they are. You can throw names out like Brigham Young would be.
I heard Pitt and BYU, but
Brigham Young would be a nice ad. There were plenty of Cincinnati, I guess, is like out there waving their hand. Pick us.
Yeah.
Cincinnati would be a decent school, but they're going to have to add those 2 schools and get a championship game because it's just obviously the committee is basically telling them, that
Right.
that's how it's going to have to be.
and I think if Ohio State would have won by 10 or 20, I think they would have put Baylor before them.
I just wish I could have been in that room to find out. I really don't know what they
Fly
were.
on the wall.
I don't
Yeah.
know what they were thinking. It reminds me of how the old political conventions used to be, when
Yeah.
all the
Smoke-filled
delegates in a
rooms.
smoke-filled room, and they would decide who the nominee was. I really think that's what happened. I think that the brand name of Ohio State carried a lot of weight over the brand names of either Baylor or TCU too. I think that you can say Ohio State against Alabama, and more people are going to want to watch that than if it would have been Alabama and TCU. I really believe that, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, but they claim that they wouldn't let, that be an issue, so
Do you believe them?
who knows?
Exactly.
All right, I'll try trivia.
Okay, where do you want to go? Mike's turn, by the way.
My favorite, the mystery profile.
Let's. We don't have to do the ad because we already just did that. The mystery profile for the good folks at Mattio's, who Bob just told us we're all lit up for Christmas.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Mystery profile. And there you go. Broadview Boulevard in Brackenridge, next to Carolyn Bengal's office. You can give them a call too if you want to order in. So here we go. Clue number 1, the $100 clue.
Oh, here we go. Go ahead.
I am an NBA Hall of Famer who, as a youth, was small and frail and kept away from other boys for fear of injury.
Rick Barry. I have no idea.
That's not correct. Let's move down to clue number 2, the $75 answer. Here we go. I was often beaten by both parents and kept a shotgun under my bed just in case.
And keep in mind,
Hello.
this is a Hall of Famer.
What's his name? Magic Johnson. I have no idea.
It is not Irvin Magic Johnson. Let's go down to the $50 clue.
He was in the right church.
Well, yeah, you heard this one and think, my jersey number has been retired by the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's not Magic Johnson, so that you gave yourself a clue.
James Worthy?
It is not James Worthy, personal favorite of mine. I played my college basketball at West Virginia University.
A Laker. Kobe Bryant. It's not it. I don't know. I
It is
pass.
not. Here we go. Time for Tinker Toy. My last name is mentioned in the Horace Greeley phrase, go west, young man, go west.
I'm going to have to pass. I have no idea.
Go west. There it
Didn't
is. Jerry West.
Paul strikes out. Uh-oh.
It was swinging though, so I put a frontwards K.
Before my time.
Before mine too.
Yeah.
One of West Virginia's
Cabin Creek,
greatest.
West Virginia. I mentioned that Nick Saban was from West Virginia, and then there we go. Then we get Jerry West.
He
There's the
had,
profile.
he was so small and frail, his parents and even the teachers in school kept him away from contact at recess. This kid was skinny.
He's still not.
And it was a neighbor that hung up a hoop in the backyard just to give the boy something to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all he did. He'd come home from school, go out to the backyard and shoot hoops. And his dad gave him beatings like you wouldn't believe.
Wow.
Wow.
And with the ends of belt buckles, he's got a book out. I forget the
Sounds
name
like a
of the
Bing
book.
Crosby type situation.
But I had the pleasure of being in his general, vicinity at a book signing in Martinsburg, West Virginia. It'll be 2 years coming up in May, I guess. And he sold a ton of books, obviously.
I bet he did. He's a big shot.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
a great executive in the NBA. Did a great job running the Lakers and came back. and the Memphis Grizzlies too for a while. So.
Okay, Paul, thanks.
Thanks,
Hey,
Paul.
we have a break. We got two folks on the line. We're going to come back real quick and get to that, so stay with us. We'll return in a moment.
Wicked Witches on Freeport Road in Cheswick has $2 16-ounce Bud Light drafts during all Pens games. Just $2. Stop by Wicked Witches on Freeport Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Drive longer with the Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile limited warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toronto and Freeport Road, Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
The Poorhouse on Route 8 in Allison Park has 225 20-ounce Bud Light drafts during all Pens games. Just $2.25. Stop by the Poorhouse on Allison Park and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Hey, when you're out and about looking for that next pre-owned vehicle, stop by where they've got 3 indoor showrooms to show you a great selection of automobiles. Of course, I'm talking about Tower Auto Sales, located in Blawnox. They're at the traffic light there at the bottom, and they've got all makes and models. They do feature Lexus, but whatever you're looking for with the magic of today's internet and everything else, Mike Fanto and his crew can get you what you're looking for. Tower Auto Sales, just buy it, 828-6202. Let's quickly go to the phones, pick up Mr. Tampa Bay. Mr. Tampa Bay, welcome.
Hey guys, what's up?
How are you?
Doing good since the Steelers picked one up.
Hey, I said something. I didn't get the call last week, but yeah, I did. The Steelers would beat Cincinnati. They're probably going to struggle against the Falcons and beat Cincinnati and beat Kansas City. And they'll probably win the division if they beat Atlanta. They could beat good teams. They struggle against the bad teams. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, we control our destiny.
Yeah, we do know if they win them all. Yeah.
That's true, but I don't know. I'm going to get off the subject here. What's going on with the Pirates? Are they going to sign Francisco Liriano, or are they going to let him go?
Well, they're taking a look. They're kicking. Well, everything's kind of hinging on John Lester right now because Lester still has to sign his deal. It looks like he might be down to the Cubs and the Giants. When that happens, then all the other pitchers are supposed to follow in line after that, and it's supposed to go down either sometime late tonight or maybe tomorrow. So when that happens, the other pitchers will start to sign, and we'll see where the Pirates come in on this, if they're really willing to open up the pocketbooks. As they say they are, of course they've said that before, and are they willing to do this to actually try to, straighten out that pitching staff a little bit? We'll see. But there are really no rumors on it yet. The only thing I had heard was that they were not necessarily willing to go 4 years on Liriano, that they were only willing to go for 3 years. It isn't the money that's going to be the issue. It's going to be that. But we'll see. If somebody's willing to offer 4, then that's what the market is. And the Pirates have proven one thing over the years: they're not very good when it comes to bidding against other teams.
What's the contract offer with Lester?
Leicester's probably, they're talking at least 6 years and maybe 7, and you're talking 25 million a year. So that's way out of their price. No, they can afford it. They could do it, but they won't. But that's what you look at the same suspects involved in that, the Giants, the Cubs, teams that have spent money in the past. The Cubs are trying to make a splash. Theo Epstein is a president of the Cubs, and he, of course, ran the Red Sox for years, and he's got experience with Leicester, so that makes some sense there. And the Giants the Giants won the World Series, and I give them a lot of credit. They don't rest on their laurels. They're trying to get better, and good for them.
All right, now I'm going to go back to the NFL for a minute. Now, rumor has it, is Harbaugh going to leave the 49ers and go to Oakland?
Seems strong.
He's gone. I think he's gone. And
I don't know where he's going.
The Oakland thing seems to be an interesting rumor. By the way, isn't that funny how that worked out yesterday, how the Raiders beat them? But the Raiders are supposedly willing to give him control of the whole operation, basically hand him the keys and say, go ahead. And he loves the Bay Area. His wife loves the Bay Area. They really don't want to leave there. He's coached at Stanford. I mean, he's coached at the 49ers, so he's been in that area for quite a while, and they like it there. So
that'd be nice.
I'm telling you, I think that would be the best way to go, and I think that might work for them. The only problem is he strikes me as the Billy Martin type, in that maybe after a couple years his act starts to wear thin with the people around him. And, that seems to be what's happened in San Francisco. And now even some of the players are being rubbed the wrong way by him, and that hasn't been the case in the past. You never ran into that in college because they're in and out of there in 4 years and you don't have to see them anymore. So it's an interesting situation, but he won't be back. And the 49ers supposedly are going to try to trade him. They'd like the Raiders' first-round pick, which might be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, like the Herschel Walker Dallas Cowboys back in the 80s.
Well, the Robert Griffin trade now, look what it's done to the Rams with the 6 players. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let other people talk, but I'm going to go with the Grand Salami question again.
All right, you've got 1, 2, 4, or 5, and I don't see a football question on here. But
all right, give me number 4.
Okay, here we go. Baseball, it is.
Oh, yeah, I just love them baseball questions. I don't do great at them.
All right, now here we go. Question number 4. What still active major leaguer has hit the most home runs without ever hitting a walk-off home run?
What major leaguer
has hit the most career home runs but has never had a walk-off home run in his career?
He's an active player?
He's still active. American League, I'll give you that.
Not retired. Active.
You get 5 seconds.
Alex Rodriguez.
No, 'tis Mark Teixeira. He's got 363 home runs through the end of the 2014 season, and not once has had a walk-off home run. So, anyway, thank you, kind sir. Have a good one.
Thanks, Tampa.
Have a good Christmas, guys, if I don't get talking to you.
Let's jump ahead to Mark Corey. Mark, welcome to the program.
Good evening, fellas.
Hey, Mark.
I just heard, I don't know, like I say, not knowing what went on in the show, that Pitt's playing Houston, and Houston fired their coach already.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, okay.
That's 2 years in a row. That's 2 years in a row they'll play a team that doesn't have their coach.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it kind of an insult in a way to the coach gets you at least the ball no matter what the situation, then you get fired before you play it. I mean, that's to me an insult to an injury or whatever you'd call it.
Well, my question is, what exactly, what are their expectations at Houston? Is my question. It's 7-5. It's a pro town. It's difficult. We know what that's like.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't figure that out. I guess as long as they're getting paid, they don't care then.
Yeah, they'll get their little stipend for going to the ball game, and I don't think it's in such a bad place. I heard some people talking about they think it's a terrible spot. Not necessarily going to Fort Worth, but playing on January 2nd. And I figure it's an extra month of practice for the kids. I think that's good.
Yeah, it'll help. And then what? Penn State's going to play Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl.
They're going to New York City to play Yankee Stadium, yes.
Well, they draw pretty good out there, right? Correct?
Well, BC should bring some people down,
Yeah,
too.
that's what I mean. So they should fill up Yankee
Yeah,
Stadium.
they like to have Penn State, Notre Dame, Rutgers, Syracuse, or Boston College. If they could have one of those 5 teams, they'll be happy.
By the way, Mark, Mike and I were talking at the earlier part of the show. Your 10-win Steelers season guess or prognosis. You're in good shape to.
You're in really good shape, Mark. I'm really liking your job. Mark's got 11 actually. So.
Well, they got to win all
No, I
3.
thought I said 10-6.
No, I got you at 11-5.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But the good news about that is that there's nobody else there with you. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have it down too.
You wouldn't have
as
to
11
share.
and 5.
You wouldn't have to
I'm
share.
sorry. Yeah,
you wouldn't
okay.
have to. You wouldn't have to suffer through to pull the name out of the half portion of the program.
Okay, because I was going to hope if they're going to lose to Atlanta since they're not in our division, then beat Kansas City and Cincinnati.
Right. Well,
now they have to win all 3. Okay.
Let's run the table for Mark. That's what we're going for here.
Yeah. I'll tell you, everything fell in place for Pittsburgh yesterday, though, with Miami losing, Buffalo losing, San Diego losing, and Kansas City losing.
I think we'd have been better off if Miami would have beaten Baltimore, though, because Baltimore's schedule is pretty soft coming down the stretch.
Okay.
I think that's the only one that could have gone the other way. But we did get, like you said, there was some nice help from the Patriots at night. Boy, what a hard-hitting physical game that was, that New England-San Diego game. Goodness. That's not, you don't normally see that from the Patriots, a game that physical with their defense. But both defenses played that game very, very physically. But you're right, we finally did get some help.
We got to do your trivia, Mark.
Okay, I'm ready for multiple choice, please.
All right, whose turn is it?
I got you.
Okay.
Here we go, Mark. First multiple choice one of the night. It's a football question. Who holds the NFL record for most career touchdowns of 50 yards or more? The most career touchdown runs of 50 yards or more. Jim Brown, John Riggins, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton.
All great runners.
Yes, sir.
It was on my website.
Oh, I have no computer, unfortunately.
Uh,
How about Sweetness, Walter Payton?
It is not Walter
No.
Payton. The answer is Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders has
okay.
that record. Walter Payton had a record tied yesterday by Le'Veon Bell, the only 2 players in NFL history to go for over 200 yards in scrimmage in consecutive games.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Le'Veon Bell and Walter Payton. Now you're in good company, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, final call coming up after our next commercial
Okay,
break.
thanks, fellas.
Thanks,
Have a good
Mark.
evening.
Rich is standing by from Cheswick. He'll be with us in a minute. Stay aboard. Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with a 4th generation. The Resevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold, and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Shop 380 Discount Warehouse, Route 380 in Murraysville. Visit 380 First for holiday decorations and supplies. 380's entire inventory is on sale at discount prices. Don't wait, supplies are limited. And since you'll spend less on decorations, shop 380 for gifts. 380's inventory of new name brand furniture, tools, housewares, pet supplies, automotive supplies, and toys are also on sale at discount prices. Get the 380 Discount Warehouse for all things Christmas, Route 380 Murraysville. All right, folks, we're back. We've got Rich on the line. Rich, welcome to the program. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Rich.
Hey, the Falcons play the Packers tonight,
right?
And they're like a 12.5-point underdog.
Of course they are.
Now the Falcons, they might get beat up tonight. That could be the edge.
I was going to say, would it be wrong of me to say I'm rooting for injuries? Injuries, please. Yes, no. However it goes, it goes. Believe me, if the Steelers are going to lose next week, they'll find a way to do it no matter how beat up the Falcons are. You saw what happened to the Saints this week. After they humiliated the Steelers on their home field, they went home and got killed by Carolina. It just shows you that this is all about the Steelers and it doesn't matter about anybody else.
You know what? Did Carolina start out 3-0?
Who?
Carolina, I think they did, or either 3-0 or 2-0. I think their first loss was to the Steelers. I think the Steelers went down there and beat them on that. I think it was a Sunday night game, and and then they had to sprinkle that tie in there with Cincinnati, and they've completely fallen apart.
The Steelers, the Ravens have a good chance for the winning the division because they have the softer schedule.
Yeah, they do. They have a pretty. I think their hardest game is going to be the last one against the Browns. But the question mark there is going to be: will the Browns still be alive? And by then, will Johnny Football be involved?
Right.
He should be in there already because like I said, there are only two people that don't know that Brian Hoyer stinks, and those are Brian Hoyer and Mike Pettin. Those are the only two people that haven't figured out that Brian Hoyer stinks and that Johnny Manziel should be playing. But if they want to keep dragging themselves out of the race, let them go ahead.
Well, Baltimore has to go to Texas on a week 16. That could be a game there.
And they're playing. They're 7-6. They're actually the top 7-6 team as far as the pecking order goes and the playoff possibilities. Houston. So, at least they'll give them a game there. But the Ravens don't lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. That's one thing about them.
That's the one difference.
That's the one thing about them is that if they go into a game favored, they usually win it.
Now, first a tiebreaker. Like the Steelers are 7-3 in the AFC, and Baltimore's only 5-4. Now, does that come down as first tiebreaker?
Well, the first tiebreaker with those two teams will be division record, and the Ravens have already lost three division games. So division record will be the first thing there. They've slid common games in between division record and conference record, minimum of 4 common games. So that takes a little more figuring to see where everybody stands there. But that's actually moved up, and they've slid that in there in between. So I'm not sure where they stand there, but the division record will be the first one, and the Steelers, if they win out, will only have 2 division losses, and the Ravens will have 3 because they lost to Cincinnati twice.
Well, if the Steelers do happen to win out, they could possibly get a home game.
Well, they will. They will get a home game because if you win the division, you automatically get a home game. So if they win the division, they will get one. And if you're a wild card, you automatically do not. That's the way it works now.
Rich, we got to jump to trivia. We're running out of time.
Okay, let's go with multiple choice.
Okay, my turn, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. This goes back to the 1987 Pittsburgh Steelers season. Are you ready?
Oh, the lovely 80s.
Okay.
Who was the Steelers' replacement quarterback from the strike season of 1987? Was it Steve Bono, Steve Walsh, Steve Berline, or David Woodley?
Steve Bono.
Beautiful.
Steve Bono?
Yes.
You say correct. Thank you. We'll have a prize coming out, Rich.
Way to go, Rich.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Have a good week in the
Bono,
meantime.
He did well with the 49ers for a while, Steve Bono, yeah.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah.
Okay. Folks, we got to wrap it up. We want to thank all of you for participating here in the program tonight. That'll do it for this edition. Back next week at this same time. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm Mike Pavlik.
And have a good week. God bless. Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.